Yeah, we missed a lot. Yeah, because I didn't get the whatchamacallit either. I didn't get the notification that we're live.
See, now it's live because I can see it on the corner.
Now it's live?
Yeah.
You remember the scripture?
I did click it. I don't know what happened.
Start from the first scripture you were quoting.
Well, I just started Genesis 29 and 1, right? Okay, so you know what? I'll go over some. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. We got time. We ain't going nowhere else. Are we live now?
Yeah.
We good?
Yeah.
Tell her to turn the feed on. See. Yeah, we should be live now.
Yeah.
We good? All right. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Again,
Shalom,
we
shalom.
had a little bit of a technical difficulty. Didn't even know that we weren't live, and y'all missed a lot. Okay, y'all really missed a lot. So yeah, we're discussing the dysfunctional family of Jacob, Leah, Rachel, and by extension Laban. I'll just go over from the beginning. So we're gonna start with Genesis 29 and 1 again, and we'll try to speed through it like we did earlier, because we got a pretty decent length. Go ahead.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 29 and verse 1. Then Jacob went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east.
Right. So again, when you read 28, and we read earlier, Jacob had escaped from Esau's wrath, left his family to go wander. Well, not wander. Jacob was told to go find Laban by his mother and say, look, I'm here to find a wife and family, this, that, and the third. So now he said he come to the people of the east, meaning the area of Saudi Arabia. Go ahead.
And he looked, and behold, a well in the field. And lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it.
Right.
For out of the well they watered the flocks, and a great stone was upon the well's mouth.
Right.
And thither were all the flocks gathered, and they rolled the stone from the well's mouth.
Right. So he found these shepherds trying to feed their sheep or water their sheep from this well. Go ahead.
And watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in its place.
Right. Go ahead.
And Jacob said unto them, My brethren, whence be ye?
Yeah. He's asked them, where did you guys come from? Where did you brothers come from? Right. Go ahead.
And they said, Of Aran are we.
Right. And we understand that Haran is near the area that is today Syria. Right. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, Know ye Laban, the son of Nahor?
Well, he said, do y'all know Laban, the son of Nahor? Right. Go ahead.
And they said, We know him.
Right. We know him. Yes, we know who he is. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter cometh with the sheep.
Right. He said, look, we know Laban, he's well, and his daughter is actually on the way to feed sheep. Right. Go ahead.
And he said, Lo, it is yet high day, neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them.
Right. Go ahead.
And they said, We cannot until all the flock be gathered together, until they roll the stone from the well's mouth. Then we water the sheep.
Right. He said, we can't feed the sheep just yet. We can't water them just yet. Go ahead.
And while he yet spake with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them.
Right. Rachel was her father's shepherd. Right. She kept the sheep of her father. Right. Go ahead.
And it came to pass when Jacob saw Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother, that Jacob went near and rolled a stone from the well's mouth and watered the flock of Laban, his mother's brother.
Right. So when Rachel pulls up to the scene, then Jacob starts getting, he starts to show out for Rachel because he's trying to impress her. Right. Go ahead.
And Jacob kissed Rachel and lifted up his voice and wept. And Jacob told Rachel that he was Rebekah's son, and she ran and told her father.
Right, so they're having a little family reunion at this point, like we went over. Right, go ahead.
And it came to pass when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, he ran and met him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him into his house and told Laban all these things.
So he told Laban the journey that he had been on, essentially, since Esau threatened to kill him and everything in between, right? Go ahead.
And Laban said unto him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh.
Right, so he said, you are my family, right? And we just wrote down Genesis, 2, verses 22 and 23, right? Then we wrote down Judges 9 and 2, 9, 1 and 2, right? And then we wrote down 2 Samuel 5, 1 and 2, if I'm correct, right? To explain that you are my bone and my flesh, meaning you are my family, all right? You are part of me. We are united by blood, and we are together in this now, right? Go ahead.
And he abode with him the space of a month. And Laban said unto Jacob, Because thou art my brother, shouldst thou therefore serve me for naught?
So he worked for him for an entire month before he even decided to pay him for his work, right? Go ahead.
Tell me, what shall thy wages be?
Right, go ahead.
And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel.
Right.
Leah was tender-eyed, and Rachel was beautiful and well-favored.
Right, so we actually did a little bit of research to find out what it means to be tender-eyed, and what did we come up with?
That she was less attractive.
She was the less attractive sister, basically. Okay, she was not that she was necessarily ugly, but that she was not as beautiful as Rachel was. Okay, all right, go ahead.
And Jacob loved Rachel, and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter.
So he said, I will serve you 7 years for Rachel. And that's when we went to Deuteronomy chapter 15. We read verses 1 to 2. And then we read 12. And we stopped at 16? Stopped at 16 to 17. Deuteronomy 15.
15.
Okay, we stopped at 15? Okay, right. So remember, if you had a Hebrew servant, you were supposed to release them after 7 years, right? And you were supposed to give them things to leave. You were supposed to give them a nice severance package to go and establish themselves, right? And this was the reason why. Read verse 15.
Verse 15. And Laban said unto...
No. In Deuteronomy 15.
Oh, excuse me. Deuteronomy...
Chapter 15, verse 15.
14?
15 and 15.
Oh, 15 and 15.
Yes.
Chapter 15, verse 15.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 15 and verse 15. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt. And the Yahweh,
Thy power
redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today.
Right, because we were slaves in Egypt, and we're not going to do our service like the Egyptians did us. That's why that law was established, right? Go ahead.
And it shall be, if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he loveth thee and thine house, because he is well with thee, then thou shalt take an awl and thrust it through his ear unto the door,
right?
And he shall be thy servant forever.
Right. So if they didn't want to leave, they were basically bonded to you forever. Anybody know what an awl is?
It's a device used to sew. So you puncture a hole in the person's ear.
Pretty much.
Can you repeat that?
Say it again, sis.
The owl is a device used to make a hole or to sew it.
Right.
So you would then use that pointy object to put a hole in someone's ear.
It's like a needle.
It's like I was about to say, it's kind of like a needle.
It's like an earpiece.
Right. It's like a I don't want to say like a brand.
Well, it's a pin.
Right, it's a pin.
Not a needle.
Right.
You just use it to make holes.
Right. So it was basically like a binding. Leave, then I'm not gonna make you leave, right? Here, if you want to stay, stay. Right. Go ahead.
And also unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise.
Go ahead.
It shall not seem hard unto thee when thou sendest him away free from thee.
Right. So it shouldn't be a hard thing. You shouldn't have to fight with them if they want to leave. If they want to leave, let them leave. After 7 years, let them go. Right. Go ahead.
For he had been worth a double hired servant to thee. In serving thee 6 years, and thy power,
Yahweh thy power,
Yahweh thy power shall bless thee in all that thou doest.
Right. So that was the law for servants. If you had a servant for 7 years, you were supposed to pay them well, send them along their merry way with a blessing. All right, with a beautiful blessing. All right. Let's go back to Genesis.
established.
Like-
Don't start there.
Exactly. And the cycle continues. If they want to hire servants, now they have something to start with, and then they can have something to bless them with on the way out, if they do decide to leave. All right. Let's see if Laban lives up to this. Okay, because he said, "I will serve you 7 years." Right? I will serve you 7 years for your daughter. Genesis 29 and 18.
This is the book of Genesis 29 and verse 18. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter.
So, brothers, ask yourself this question. Let us all ask ourselves this question. Would you serve a man 7 years for a daughter, to marry his daughter?
No.
You wouldn't? Would you? I mean, you're already married, so it kind of doesn't count. You guess not?
Maybe back then, but not now.
Why not? Why not? Why wouldn't you? If you knew at the end of 7 years that you would get to marry this man's daughter, and you know that okay, this is the woman I want to be with, because remember it says he loved Rachel, right? So as he got to know her, as he learned who she is and everything in between, he said, okay, yeah, I'm willing to serve this man 7 years so I can marry his daughter. You wouldn't do it? If you knew for sure that he was going to save her, he wasn't going to let no other man have her, nothing else, nobody can come in between. You knew for sure after 7 years. You still wouldn't do it, Caleb?
No, sir.
It's a different time. Different day.
Damn, you brothers are rough. Come on, remember, marriages were arranged back then.
Well,
Right.
well, I would say if it was arranged from like childbirth, then when you get to that point, yeah, you could live with that. But to actually come from another place and to see somebody and then want to be with that person, I don't think I could do it.
You don't think you could do it?
No.
Yahweh?
Nah, I don't think.
No.
I think it's a different time. You know, it's a different mindset, mind thought than today.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe back then, because like you said, marriages were arranged. Okay, I can go along with the program because that's the order of the day, of the time. But these days, today, I don't think I could do it.
You don't think you can do it? Well, think about this, right? Let's think about the flip side. When Rebecca, when Abraham's servant went to what's his name? Rebecca's father's house, right? Went to Laban's house. No, who's their father? I forget his name.
What were we talking about?
Rebecca's father. It wasn't Laban. He's her brother. Okay. When Abraham's servant went to go find.
No.
When Abraham's servant went to go find a wife for Isaac, right? And they came upon Rebecca. Rebecca did not know Isaac. She never met him. She didn't know anything about it. And all she's getting is proposed marriage, right? Mm-hmm. Her parents did. What did her parents do, first and foremost? Think about it. Remember, what did her parents do? Anybody remember? Sharon. What did Rebecca's parents do when Abraham's servant came to ask about taking her to be Isaac's wife? What did
They told her that she could go. I guess she was of age. So
Pretty-
they said, go with him, and
they asked her? They said, "Do you want to do this? Do you want to go?" And what did she say?
yeah.
Sure.
She said, "Sure, let's do it." Leap of faith, right? Did she have to? Did Isaac have to work 7 years for her?
No.
Right? She didn't. I mean, he didn't, right?
He was 40, and then she started to get married.
Yeah. So they were clearly she was clearly of age to get married, and they asked her.
Then again,
wanna
that
go
was
with that
that was the thought process of the time.
Mhm.
At that time.
At the
you know?
time,
I
okay.
mean, what? She's home. You know what I'm saying? She knows she's gonna be married
Mhm.
someday.
Mhm.
And here comes this proposal.
She
So
wanted to go too.
she want to get out the house.
And she was doing sheep.
But she never met this man.
Right.
She never.
Yeah,
She.
but the marriages were arranged then. There was a lot of marriages where people they haven't met.
And this was before Jacob and Rachel
Yes.
Right, Isaac.
Right.
Yes.
Before, so.
Right, so I just say it's a different time. It's a different time. So.
Okay. What you
One,
got to
one,
say?
of,
King?
one of the thing with Isaac, I believe, is that with him it was a little bit different because they sent, I think it was Eliezer, I think it was, and they sent him to actually go and
Go look
find
for
a wife. But him going there, they also knew that this person that she was getting ready to marry was a rich person who had money or who had substance.
So is that the ultimate decider if a man is worth marrying or not?
No, I'm just saying that if you're contrasting it, then you could look at it from that flip side to this flip side, and that's all I'm saying.
That probably was an influence, but I don't think that was like a main factor. I think the main factor was the time period. That was the understanding of the time. You be arranged. I mean, them girls back then, man, they didn't just go out and hang out and go with this guy and go with that guy.
Right.
They didn't do that then.
Right.
But the arrangement was great, considering the fact that you're going to be married into a wealthy family.
Well, I'm also
Yeah,
just.
that contributed to it, but I don't think that was like a main factor in not doing that.
Well, the reason why I say that is because, like I said, Rebecca had never met Isaac until she married him, right? Jacob has been here for a month before he's even asked, what do you want your reward to be for working for me, right? So he's gotten a chance to know her, but now he's got to wait even longer, right? He could have just said, look, can I marry her and go, right? But he said, no, I'm willing to go through the process.
He couldn't have said that because remember, he was running away from his brother. His mom told him to go stay with her brother until, so there was no way he could say, can I marry her and go? Where would he go with her?
See?
You know? So
See?
there's a big difference between those two.
Absolutely. I just wanted to see where y'all minds were at with that. That's why I just wanted to bring that up to see where your minds were, because like I said, Jacob he's willing to go through the process. There's security here, there's work here. I'm going to be provided for, and I'm going to get a wife out of it in the end. Right? Everything else with Isaac and Rebecca, it was just straight up arranged for him. Isaac didn't have to do anything. It was prepared for him. And she came to him. He didn't have to go anywhere. Right? She came to him. And on top of that, they had just buried Sarah. So he was in a state of mourning. So he didn't have to do anything. Everything was prepared for him. He needed comfort, exactly.
But with Jacob, though, he was just so carried away with the love he had for her. We don't know if she felt that way about him.
We don't. But you know what?
But that's what carried him through.
Right. That he knew that there was going to be a reward at the end of this.
That was the mental, that was the attitude of the time. You go and get yourself a wife. And the women know that you go and get yourself a husband.
Got to have a bunch of kids.
And he was just so overwhelmed with her. What it said? It said it seemed like what? It didn't even seem like 7 years that it was.
We're going to read that.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to read that. So
I think that played a big factor in his decision.
Another thing
Also.
that we have to look into is that where Abraham was living at the time, there was no way Isaac could marry any of those women there,
Right. They were there.
Isaac
Right.
could never marry any of
Absolutely.
The Most High said, no, you don't marry those.
We don't marry those nations. That's right.
So that's why he said you have to go
To where I'm from.
Because, Israelites not supposed, we Israelites not supposed to mix up with the world.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
You're not supposed to marry a Chinese woman.
Exactly. That's
or a white
absolutely.
woman. You're an Israelite. You're supposed to marry an Israelite.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
don't like that. He said you should never do that.
Absolutely.
That's against the Most High will. When an Israelite man marry a white woman or a Chinese.
Now check this out, right?
Not good.
You said that Jacob had basically got carried away with his love for her, right? Remember, she's also a Hebrew woman, right? She's a Hebrew woman, and probably the first Hebrew woman that he's come across since he left. So now he's like, oh, perfect. This is the perfect opportunity for me. Everything that my mother told me is finally coming to fruition. And remember, we skipped a chapter, but remember the Most High told him, look, I'm going to establish you. Okay, I'm going to take care of you. So he's probably seeing Rachel and he's like, okay, yeah, this is it. let's do this. What do I have to do?
And he was 40
Wait a
years
minute,
old,
did
he
the
was
Most
of
High
age.
tell him that?
This was in chapter 28. This is chapter 28. This is after but when you read in 28, this is when he had the vision of, I think, Jacob's ladder,
Where is that now?
right? This is after that. We skipped 28. We never read 28, but that's in 28. That's when he has the vision of the ladder. Okay,
28 and 12.
right. So now, going through all of this, now Jacob sees Rachel, a Hebrew woman, has found his family, and is like, okay, I think the Most High is planning this. All right, what do I have to do in order to make this right? In order to go about this the right way? Because especially in today's time, we don't go about it the right way, right? When we establish relationships, we just go off of what it looks like, what this person does. You know what I'm saying? She cooked good, or he got money, or this, that, and the third. Very superficial. When I was dating women in the world, I always asked them, okay, what's your relationship with your parents like? Okay, I wasn't afraid to meet their parents. I wanted to let them know, okay, where's this going? Where did she come from? What type of family does she have? Okay. All right, let's go back to the where do we leave off?
Genesis 29 and 19.
Okay, let's go.
And Laban said, "It is better that I give her to thee, than that I should give her to another man.
Right.
Abide with me."
Right. So he said, look, it's better that I give her to you than somebody else, because everybody can't have my daughter. Okay. And like the scripture says, Rachel was beautiful and well favored, meaning everybody wanted her. She was the hottest girl on the block, and everybody knew who her father was, right? She was the girl next door, and her father was like, "No, you can't have my daughter. You ain't right." Okay, but Laban said, "No, it's better that I give her to you than anybody else. I know who you are. I know where you come from. You're my family, right? And I know that you're a hardworking man because you've been working for me all this time, right? And not complaining, getting up every day, putting your sickle to the corn and putting your brick in, this, that, and the third, right? So yeah, you're worth my daughter, right? But let's see how it all plays out. Go ahead.
Verse 20. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days.
Right.
For the love he had had to her.
Right. So he loved her so much that it felt like he was only working a few days. That's some love. That's love. Right? That's love. You work for one. You work for 7 years for one man, and it's like nothing. It's like time went by like this, right? Just fly. Think of the last 7 years of our lives. They just flew, right? Caleb, you see how we talked about it last week, how time has flown, and I'm like, whoa, hold on, I need a break. Hold on.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like for Jacob, right? Go ahead.
And Jacob said unto Laban, "Give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled."
Right. So he's like, all right, time to ante up, right? Give me my wife. It's time to get busy, right? Go ahead.
That I may go in unto her. And Laban gathered together all the men of the place and made a feast.
Right. So this is actually part of Hebrew culture, ancient Hebrew culture, where we have marriage feasts, okay, where we would get together and have a giant feast for the wedding, right? Go ahead.
And it came to pass in the evening that he took Leah, his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her.
So Laban tricked Jacob. He swapped out Leah for Rachel.
There's no courting.
No, nothing. Right? He just said here. He said, "Look, Leah, go in there. He's drunk. Go in there and put that thing on him." Right? My God. Can you give me some of the
I'm talking about like
the sorrel, please?
I'm talking about
If there's any left.
Rebecca.
None. Okay. Give me the
Got lemonade.
I'll take that, please.
I'm talking about with Rebecca. There's no courting. He worked for 7 years.
You mean for Rachel?
Yeah, for Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
He worked for 7 years.
Well,
And give me my wife.
well, remember. Well, okay. We don't know that for sure because it doesn't say. Now, during the 7 years, of course, they probably interacted with each other.
Yeah, they probably, he probably throw some slick lines.
Right.
Every time you see him, whatnot, but no
Right.
actually like dating
I would
and
like to
stuff
know
like that. I don't think.
how did his father trick Jacob with the bigger sister? Because what was it? Was it a night, a darkness?
Probably.
Because why did he go into Leah and didn't realize that it was
Why?
Rachel?
Yeah, listen.
You know?
And he was so hot, he was just ready.
Just ready. Yeah, he was just ready.
I didn't have to wait to know.
He's just ready.
She was so hot.
You said he was in heat.
Sharon said she was so hot. He was so hot.
Okay, hold on. And all these 7 years you have been with that girl, seeing that girl, you just go in and
You never thought to.
any changes to say, oh no, this is not
This ain't her.
Rachel. This is not Rachel.
We're-
But they had veils and they didn't have electricity.
This thing was dark. Yeah, the woman.
Candles.
It's very possible.
I still kind of find it difficult to say, well, how did he get tricked? Because
Well,
when
maybe.
you really think about it,
Me too.
I think there got to be some major differences like height,
Of course, of course.
body proportion, X, Y,
Listen.
and Z. So
No, yes, you
Listen.
see her all the time. They
Listen.
talk all the time.
So she looked good. As they say, she
Maybe.
looked good.
Maybe. Listen.
Listen, they are in love. They sit and they talk. Maybe they hug. You never know. And put on that design around her.
maybe Leah smelled different than Rachel.
That's what I'm saying. So how come you were tricked by going to
Maybe he was intoxicated. We don't know. We don't know.
That's the only way.
That's the only explanation I can come up with.
Just like Noah. So that guy took his thought.
And Lot. It was a feast.
He probably was a little bit.
He was probably a little tipsy. They was having fun.
Yes, maybe before the wedding he had drink and then maybe drink a little more. Because he was
Trying to set the
excited.
mood
He was
and
excited because he's gonna get his wife now, so
listen.
he could drink.
Can you see how Noah's tricked? Noah's tricked.
No, that was Lot was
wasn't
tricked.
No, it wasn't tricked. No, it wasn't tricked.
Lot was tricked. Lot was tricked by his daughters. That's what happened. They got him drunk and then laid with him.
But
Right?
I believe that because of the wedding, Jacob said, after 7 years I've waited so long, this is gonna be, so he just took a drink and maybe
Took too much drink. Listen, we don't know. We just speculating because the
was a
scriptures
hot
actually
drink.
don't say.
put yourself in his place.
Yeah, listen.
It was a hot drink.
The father know why. The father
Yeah,
is right.
but the Most High ultimately had a hand in all of this. Okay, we're gonna see that the Most High ultimately had his hand in all of it. All right,
That's true.
read on.
And verse 24, and Laban gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah, is made for a handmaid.
Right. So Zilpah became Leah's handmaid. Right. Go ahead.
And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve thee for Rachel? Wherefore then hast thou beguiled
He
me?
said, "Look, I made a deal. We had an arrangement. We had a deal. I would serve you for Rachel. Why did you give me Leah?" Right? Go ahead.
And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn.
See, now if he had, right, he never said that. When he said, "Look, I'll serve you for Rachel," he could have been like, "Wait, well, I understand you like Rachel, but according to law, according to custom, here the firstborn daughter gets married first."
He didn't explain
He never explained that to him.
Either you take them both.
Or, either you take them both or you got to marry Leah first.
He didn't explain anything.
Never explained that. All he saw was, I can have a servant for 7 years. This boy's willing to work for me for 7 years,
No problem.
right?
He must have been extremely upset because the love that he had for her was like, that's an unusual love.
It was, you know what it was? There's a word for that. It's called infatuation. Okay, when you're infatuated with someone, it means that you have so much love for them and it's unreasonable, right? Like like we said, they don't really know each other like that. Remember, he only knew her for like a month, and he was willing to marry her, right?
He was infatuated.
He was infatuated with Rachel.
He said she was so he was all down.
Exactly. He was
And if you notice, he was being deceived there twice.
twice.
Yes, twice. Because the father did not explain, as you said, that the law of the country is that you have to marry the first one before the second. And then he deceived him by giving Leah the night of the marriage.
So-
so he deceived Jacob twice.
So let this be a lesson to all of us, right? When we make deals with people, we make agreements and covenants, right? Especially when you're working for someone, make sure that you understand every aspect of that contract. Okay? Make sure you understand every aspect, because they'll hit you with the fine print.
Yes.
They will hit you, especially these jobs will hit you with fine print. And so
When you go to these companies and they tell you anything, you make certain you read the fine print. Get everything from the manager, get everything from the supervisor.
Get the rule
because you need
books,
to know
everything.
So that when anything go wrong, you can say, oh, no, I have it here because I did sign for this and you did tell me this.
Caleb, you see who we work for, they are quick to hit you with a rule.
Oh Lord.
Quick. If you mess up, they go, well, what's the problem? They go, you broke rule such and such and such and such. 30 days in the street. You know what I mean? No questions asked. They go, if they don't seek to fire you, they will suspend you and throw you to the wolves in a heartbeat because you didn't read that rule. You didn't read that contract. And also let this be another lesson to you. When you go to other countries, right? Understand their laws.
That's true.
Understand their learn them. Okay? Because there are too many times where, especially our people, go to other countries and think that it's sweet over there. And you come to find out, no. They don't play that over there like they do over here. Yeah. Like the sister that went to Dubai, right? And she got huh?
That basketball.
No.
No, not her.
She too.
But her too, you know, but I was talking about the sister that went to Dubai and was getting she was getting loud with the owner of I think it was a trucking company or something like that. And they threw her in prison. They was like, no, you can't talk to men like that at all. You know what I mean? They was like, no, you better know.
That's right.
We don't play that over here.
That's
See,
right.
over here in America, you can get loud with whoever you want to get loud with. But over there, no, they don't. They don't take that.
You see, in America taught this country here is very outrageous with laws and so forth. Because here they want women to have power. I keep telling people, I say, I'm a woman, but when you go with the scriptures, women don't have no power over no man.
Absolutely.
No. God
Absolutely.
created Adam first. And if you notice in the scripture, God don't give woman no power to do nothing. You talk about a woman preaching. You
Right.
should never see that.
Right.
You
You're
would
not
never
supposed
see
to.
that.
No.
It's not in the scripture.
It's not supposed to be that way.
So,
No.
they talk about woman country. Women have no power nowhere.
Right.
Nowhere.
Now he gave the women their glory. Don't get me wrong. Women have their glory, absolutely.
They do.
But they have to be according.
You don't have nothing to do with
Exactly.
man. And you don't talk to man anyhow.
Exactly.
You have to respect.
And you see how Rachel abided by that, because when she saw Jacob, the first thing she did was run to her father and said, look who I found. Look who I ran into. Right? And she didn't jump the gun and say, I'm going to marry him and Leah is stuck. You know what I'm saying? Leah just has to eat that. You have to realize the laws of certain countries when you go there. You just can't run around all, like in certain countries, we can't even teach this. We can't even, like, I think in
On the street.
huh?
Go out on the street.
Yeah, we can't go out on the street in Afghanistan or
I think
Iraq.
Cuba is one of them too.
We can't. No, the Bible is banned in public places. If we get caught reading this out in the street, oh yeah, we getting arrested. Might even get killed.
It's just
Straight
like
up.
in Jamaica, you can't read them if you had. I don't know for now, but I know in the past, like if you had the Maccabee
Right.
and you get caught with it, you would be sentenced to prison.
See, you gotta know the laws of the country. You gotta know the laws of the country where you going. Okay.
Oh yes.
All right, let's get back to it. So yeah, we read 26. Read 26 again.
And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn.
Right. It's not. That's the custom of the of that land. To the firstborn daughter gets married first. All right. Go ahead.
Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service which thou shalt serve with me yet 7 other years.
So now he's trying to get 7 more years out of him.
And he said fulfill her week.
Fulfill her week, right? She's unclean now because he laid with her. And the tokens of virginity that we read about, they have to be exchanged. So now that she's no longer virgin, she's unclean, right? Go ahead, read on.
And Jacob did so, and fulfilled her week. And he gave him Rachel, his daughter, to wife also.
So now he gets Rachel, right? He got Rachel after Leah, right? Go on.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Does this mean that he served the 7 years, or they made a deal now and now he got Rachel?
Yeah, he had to serve another 7 years.
No, I mean, I do understand he had to serve the 7 years. But it kind of looked like he gave her, like they came to an understanding, and he said, okay, you could have her, but you're just going to have to work out that 7 years. That's kind of like what it looked like.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, yeah.
Okay.
You have to work for another 7 years.
Right.
Go ahead.
And verse 29. And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid. And he went in also unto Rachel.
Right.
And he loved also Rachel more than Leah.
So now notice it says he loves Rachel more than he loves Leah, right? He loves Yep. Go ahead.
And served with him yet 7 other years.
Right. So now think about this: a dispensation of time, 7 years. He has both wives now, and the scripture makes it plain that he loves Rachel more than he loves Leah. So now, how does that manifest itself in a marriage?
And you have the handmaid too.
Right, and you got the handmaids, right? So how does that manifest itself in 7 years? It's clearly showing that he loves Rachel more than he loves Leah. How does that show itself?
That he's spending more time.
He's spending more time with Rachel. What else? Come on, give me some more. Think about it. Think of not necessarily marriage, right? Think of your friends or people that you talk to, right? You might have some friends that you hang out with more than others, or you might talk to them a different way. You might tell them more. You might go on more outings with them. And in this case, they're probably having more relations. You know what I mean? And she's being left out of everything.
Yeah, they're spending more
Right? They're spending more time with each other.
time with Rachel.
He might not even talk to her much at all.
Right, doing
You know what I mean?
7 years.
Leah was around all the time. Rachel, wherever he goes, whatever he do,
She get-
Rachel's always there.
She's riding the camel while Leah's riding the donkey. You know what I mean? She get the ugly car, right? She get the ugly clothes or whatever have you. She get the small piece of fish, and he might hand feed Rachel, but then to turn around and here Leah, you have this.
I think he didn't even bother with Leah, you know.
He probably didn't.
He didn't. You know, he spent all his time with Rachel because the Most High looked at it and said, you know, it wasn't right.
Right.
So that's why Leah, when eventually, you know, he gave Leah.
And this is exactly what we're about to read.
Yes, you know.
We're exactly about to read that. Go on.
Verse 31. And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb.
He opened her womb. Right. It said Leah was hated.
Wow.
He said that Leah was hated. So it goes to show you that even though now when it says hated, does that mean that Jacob had animosity towards her?
No.
What does it mean then?
It just means that he wanted Leah from the jump.
I don't know.
And Rachel from the jump, and he got Leah, you know, out of trickery.
Wait, hold on, one at a time. What do you think, Yehuda?
I was saying that he had to be very upset because
Yes.
he was tricked in that way where he was like, "Give me my wife." You know, and then to find out that he got the wrong one. For 7 years, he probably took that out of her.
That's actually a very good point. I didn't even think
that
about
is a
that. He
very
might have
good
taken
point,
that
yeah.
anger out on her.
Yes.
That anger towards Laban. he probably took that out on Leah. Like, damn, I'm stuck with you.
Right.
I'm stuck with you.
Right. For 7 years.
No, for the rest of my life.
And she's confident.
Right.
And she was a part of the deal with her dad too, because she knew that it was Rachel who was supposed to marry him.
Mm-hmm.
And her father said, no, you go because I want
Mm-hmm.
you. So she was with her dad too with that lie.
Now, no. Check this out, right? Now, okay, I'm gonna address what you just said because you actually just said something too, right? So you said that she went along with it, right?
Yes,
Maybe she didn't.
she did.
No, but I mean, like maybe she wasn't like or she wasn't co-conspirating, kind of like how with Jacob and Esau, right? And Rebecca was like, "No, do this. Hurry up. Go dress up like Esau and go talk to your father." And Jacob's like, "What?" You know what I mean? What? Why am I? No, he's gonna know.
But if you notice, Jacob said to his mom,
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that because my dad gonna know that
He's gonna know that it's me
of my skill
and my voice.
and
Mm-hmm.
all of that. But Leah didn't say nothing. The Bible didn't mention that.
That's
Leah
true.
said anything to her dad.
That's very true.
Just go ahead with it.
She just went along with it.
It was planned
Now,
for Rachel. It wasn't planned for her.
now, check this out, right? Maybe, and this is just speculating, right? Because the Bible says what? It says that it came. No. It says it came to pass in that evening that he took Leah his daughter and brought her to him, right? And he went unto her. So maybe she's thinking, oh snap, maybe this is, you know what I'm saying? Because Jacob's not protesting. So maybe she's like, okay, maybe like is this supposed to be happening right now? Or maybe Laban told her, look, Jacob is he's on board with it or whatever. He might know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he tricked her too, is what I'm saying. Maybe he tricked Leah into doing this thing also, to the point where now she's confused. Why is my husband not? Why doesn't my husband love me?
She already knew that Jacob was in love with her sister Rachel from day one.
Right.
Because Jacob met Rachel at the
Right. Right.
Came there, and all the years he was working for his wife.
Absolutely.
Rachel.
Absolutely.
Leah must have known that. That's no secret.
Absolutely. I agree. That is 100% true. Now, what I'm saying is maybe in that moment, right after the feast, and Jacob is wherever he's in the marriage chamber ready to consummate, right? Laban he could have told Leah, look, there's been a change of plans. We're going to send you instead because that's the law of the country. Now, remember, if he knew that law, that means she knew it too, right? So she's probably thinking to herself, ain't I supposed to be the one marrying him first, not her?
Right.
And he goes, and Laban says, yeah, in fact, you go in there. I'm saying, listen, clearly Laban has a capacity to lie and trick and extort, right? So now he's probably telling her, look, we have to do this the right way. You go into to Jacob and you lay with him and you marry him first. But we don't know if she protested, if he protested. We don't know. We're just speculating, right?
The scripture would have mentioned it.
I agree. The scripture would have mentioned that.
It would have given you something.
It would have given you. It would have.
Where Leah said, well, no, Dad,
Mm-hmm.
It would have given you, but it says nothing there.
It says nothing about it. So we just.
Go ahead.
She just went along with it.
Yes, she went along with what her dad said because it was the law of the country.
Exactly.
So that,
All right. So we're gonna get back to it. Verse 31, Caleb. Verse 31. 29 and 31.
This is the book of Genesis 29 and verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
And Laban gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah, his handmaid, to be her maid.
Mm-hmm.
And he went in unto her, and he went in also unto Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
And he loved also Rachel more than Leah,
Mm-hmm.
and served with him yet 7 other years.
Right.
And when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb.
Mm-hmm.
But Rachel was barren.
Rachel was barren. So see how the Most High turned that around on them? He said, okay, yeah, she's the hated wife. You know, she's going to be the whatchamacallit one.
The Baron.
No. She's going to be Leah. She's going to be, what's the word? The fertile one. Okay, Rachel's going to be the barren one.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
And Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, surely the Lord hath looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me.
So Reuben, who knows what Reuben means?
My affliction.
No. Reuben means look, it's a son. See, a son. Ra'ah means see or look, right? And Awaban means son, right? Look, a son. Ra'awaban. Okay?
And see how also how spiritually in tune they were.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not to go like today they say, well, I can't bear children, let's go and get some kind of implants or something like that. They were like strictly like, surely the Lord is with me. The Lord is, you know, seen to make me fertile. As opposed to, oh, I'm barren now, you know. The Lord did this to me or whatever. But they were more spiritual inclined the way they thought back in those days.
Absolutely. Read on.
Verse 33. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, because the Lord had heard that I was hated, he had therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon.
Right. Who knows what Simeon means? Shemaiwan. No. Listen to the name. In ancient Hebrew, it's Shemaiwan. Right? What does that mean? Shemai. There you go. Hearing. Okay? Shemaiwan. Simeon. Hearing. Okay? Write these things down or highlight them. Okay? So Reuben means, look, a son, or see, it's a son. Simeon means hearing, okay, or heard. All right, go on. Now, also, Chuck, check this out, right? See how she's naming their sons, right? Based off of how she's feeling. Okay, based off of what's going on in their marriage. Look, it's a son. Okay, maybe he'll love me now, right? I gave him a son, right? The Lord heard my affliction, that I was hated, right? My husband doesn't love me, but I keep giving him children, so I name him Simeon, right? And now go on.
Verse 34. And she conceived again and bare a son, and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi.
Who knows what Levi means? Lawyer. Levi. Who knows what that means? Joined unto me. Right? Joined to me. Now she's thinking, okay, I've given him 3 sons. Maybe he'll love me now. So she's fighting for her husband's love through their children. Because clearly he's still laying with her and, you know, and having sex with her. Right? So she's like, something's got to give at this point. Maybe my husband will love me because now this is my 3rd son. Maybe he'll love me now. Right? Go ahead.
And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, now will I praise the Lord. Therefore she called his name Judah.
Judah, right? Go ahead.
And left barren.
Who knows what Judah means? Yahwehdah.
Praise.
Yahweh's praise. That's right. Write that down. Yahweh's praise. So now we got 4 sons, right? We got Reuben. Look, see, it's a son. Simeon, affliction, heard, or hearing, right? And then we got Levi, lawyer, joined unto me, and Judah, Yahweh's praise, right? Now she's fighting for her husband's love through their children. Okay, go ahead.
That's it on that, sir.
Keep reading.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 30 and verse 1. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, give me children, or else I die.
Right. So now Rachel's starting to feel the heat and starting to feel the pressure. It's like, look, she's having all the children. If you can't give me children, or else I'm going to die. Right? And look at how Jacob responds. Go ahead.
And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel.
So now he's like, why? This obviously brewed a big fight between them. right? Now they're having marital problems. Like, what is, like, why are you telling me this? Why are you telling me to give you children or else you're gonna die? Like, what does that have? Like, what do I have to do with that? Right? Go ahead.
And he said, am I in God's stead, who art withheld from thee the fruit of thy womb?
He said, am I the reason that you're barren? Like, why are you telling me that? Like, I can't give you children. The Most High will give you children, not me. I didn't close up your womb. Take it up with the Most High, right? Go ahead.
And she said, behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she shall bear upon my knees, that I may also have children by her.
So now we're getting back into surrogacy, right? Remember we read that with Abraham and Sarah and Hagar. She's like, look, go into my handmaid and she'll have children for me. Right? Go ahead.
And she gave him Bilhah, her handmaid, to wife. And Jacob went in unto her, and Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. And Rachel said, God hath judged me, and hath also heard my voice, and hath given me a son.
Right.
Therefore called she his name Dan.
Dan, right? Dan means judge, right? Dan, right?
Here's
Dan.
what I was saying earlier about the time period. You see how they thought? You know,
Yeah.
ain't no woman today gonna give you another woman to bear their child unless
You'd be surprised. Look,
they going through courts or something.
no,
like
they do this other thing. Hold on, Mike Allah. They do this.
Surrogate.
They do surrogacies, and like they'll take the egg from one woman and plant it in the other woman's uterus and conceive.
Right, but that's
Right.
not like. See, they usually don't know who the other person is.
No real woman. A woman who really loves her husband, care for her husband, is gonna say to another woman, go sleep with my husband because I need a child. You got to be kidding me. You're crazy.
No, but back
No,
then,
but that was a different time.
Yeah, it was a very different then.
That's what I was saying.
Very
That's a
different
different
time.
time.
Different
Sarah
time.
did that.
That's not. Listen, that happened in that time, and Sarah know why she did that because the Most High had told them that they were gonna have a child.
But-
Sarah said she was getting old, so she didn't want the time to pass. So that's why she sent
But she was
Abraham
past
to
age.
do
She
it
was past age.
with her. But I'm
So she
telling
went
you,
to the younger
hold,
maid.
my sister, hold on, listen. In this time that we're living, you know every woman fighting for the man. Do you know that?
Yeah.
People go to street, where
Yeah.
the women and all of those stuff. No woman in your right mind is gonna tell you to go sleep with her husband if you love. None.
Hopefully not.
And you're crazy? The government is allowing things where you go and they take egg from one woman
And they put it in another woman.
And all that. But nobody, I'm not gonna tell nobody to sleep with my husband. You crazy?
Yeah.
You crazy?
Or they do the
Not
test
in
tube
my-
babies.
Not in my madness mind, much less in my right mind.
Listen,
You crazy?
listen. The times is different, you know.
But
Yeah.
in Deuteronomy, then
If the man didn't have any children,
if the man died having children,
right,
The
the next brother would have to come up.
Right.
So
The next
you
brother
could
would have
say,
to come up. But
The Most High allowed that, so what you gonna say?
well, you know, it's also it's different. But I get what you're saying.
The reason,
Usually, wife, they say go sleep with your brother, go sleep with your dead brother. Wife.
yeah,
But that's if the man died.
yeah, but that's if the man died, and the reason for that was because I think it was for the most part the generation bringing back that man.
Yes, to bring back that man's lineage. That man's lineage will continue. Yes.
To keep the line of the generation
To come back.
come back.
Here, she's just barren. She just can't have any kids. So she's like, look, you be the surrogate. I'll basically still be the child's mother growing up. But, you know, the people do that all the time. They have surrogate children, surrogate mothers, and, you know, one woman will bear the child and really have nothing to do with the upbringing of the child.
They do adoption.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if you can't have a child,
Yep.
they do what you call adoption, so that you know that child becomes yours.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
They do test tube babies, IVF, all that other stuff.
Yes.
Times have changed. Now, some of it, to me, it's not, I don't want to say complete and total wickedness, but a lot of it just be like, yo, what are y'all doing? You know, at some point, where do you just stop and say, you know what, maybe it's just not for, yeah, where do you draw the line? Some of us just can't have kids, all right?
left
Oh,
and right.
I was ever
Yeah.
saying, Jacob was a player.
Yeah, he was-
Oh yeah,
He ain't refusing anything.
yeah. Listen, he's married to these women. Now notice he's married to these women, and these women, these handmaids,
He was a player.
right?
And then he's dealing with
With the two handmaids, yeah. But they all agreed to it, right? No, there's no this. Now notice Jacob's not being deceptive here.
Right.
He's not being the trickster in the scenario,
Right.
but he's reaping all the blessings, right? He's reaping all the benefits
Did
here.
you realize, did you know something, my teacher, because you guys are really Israelites and you know a lot. Did you know that Israelites men, going in the scriptures, as you say, they are Jacob was a player, David was a player. Solomon was a player.
We're gonna get into
You
David
see,
in the
Israelite
future.
men, they love women and they don't care whether you
Listen,
sister or
we're
your
gonna
cousin.
get into David in the future because
They like to have a lot of women.
David had more kids than I knew. Okay, David had a lot of children, and we're gonna get into that in a future class.
Solomon have some wives and then the rest of them, they call them what?
I think he had like 30.
They had a harem.
I think David had like 30 children.
Yes,
So
and they call some of them what?
concubines, yeah,
Concubines.
yeah. Because remember
I think that what the sister said earlier, that there's some truth in that.
what?
That no woman is gonna volunteer her husband.
No, I'm not
No.
gonna do that, and I
Why?
don't care.
No.
Because I think they did it because that was part of the times and it was acceptable
Right.
at that time. But I don't really think they liked
Not
doing
no.
it.
No.
They
Not
didn't
no,
really
not
like
no.
it.
It- remember-
No, even back then, because Sarah was upset. You know.
Remember also back then at this time, it was a shame for a woman to be barren, that she couldn't have children.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? Like one of the peaks of womanhood was also motherhood, right? Being able to carry forth children and
Right.
bring forth the new generation. That was a
Son.
right.
So it was a problem if you didn't get pregnant?
Back then, it was a problem. Yeah, it was a shame for women to not be able to get pregnant. That's why Sarah. That's why Rachel was so upset. She was like, I'm barren. What use am I? I'm gonna die. Give me children lest I die.
But listen, if it was a problem for the woman not to get pregnant from her race, why would you want somebody to get pregnant for you? Because let's say I can't get pregnant and she can get pregnant for me. My stomach is my stomach. My womb is my womb. Come on.
That was the That's just the agreement that they made. That's somebody's gonna have to think about it like this. If 10 women in one room are barren, but there's one that's not, what's gonna happen?
Because the most time, what we have to learn, my teacher, these things has to do with the most time.
Exactly.
If the most time close up your womb, there's nothing you can do to open it.
Absolutely.
And if he open that woman womb, fine with her. You know, you just have to just go with your husband. If you love your husband, you love him. If your husband loves you, he loves you. But what are you gonna do?
You're gonna set what the Most High does.
Breath of life comes from the Most High.
Absolutely.
The seed that he sowed from your husband to your womb. He's the one who do it.
It's sin. I don't know if sin or it's sin.
It's sin.
When it started, sin.
This isn't sin.
I don't know when. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're saying that's where this all started? Was
I can't have a woman, can't have
yeah,
it's sin.
that's what it is. It's sin.
The Bible, it says sin.
Sin is the reason why some women can't be barren, are barren.
There's another thing to look at here.
What's
The
that?
aspect of that these were maids
Yeah.
Right.
and they had no say.
Yeah, they had no say. Yeah.
They
Well-
had no say.
Like,
If
sorry,
she wanted,
but-
she gave them to him.
True.
She didn't ask them. That's her maid.
Yeah, that's what.
So maid had a certain level that they could not go beyond.
Yeah, they handmaids, so they can't say nothing.
Right. They weren't wives. They were handmaids and
Right.
concubines.
Right.
So they had a different. The rules. Yeah. There's different rules for them.
Right.
Okay. There are different rules for them. Now, of course, they had to say because you're not just gonna say here, just sleep with her and. We're gonna get into that's something
I
else.
don't know. Rachel was pissed off. She was like, give me child. He said, I'm not the Most High.
Right.
She went and grabbed her maid. Hey,
Right, but remember,
I think she asked.
Well, remember of course they probably had the conversation and said, listen, we want you to be the surrogate for Rachel. It's not like she just said, here, just sleep with him and give me a child. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, she's devastated that she can't have children, but you're not going to take away the rights of another woman just because you want to have children.
But she's
But
made.
also when you look at how marriage is arranged when you have multiple wives. In Israel, do the first wife have more say than the second wife and stuff like that?
But remember, the scriptures say that the second wife, if a man takes a second wife, the first wife's status can't be diminished at all. Like, he has to maintain her lifestyle.
But the reason why I asked that question is because of this. Now, she literally brought a third person in. It wasn't given from Laban's angle. She, as a wife, did that deliberately. So she brought somebody else into the equation.
Well, remember, Laban gave her over to Rachel, right? Now, remember, the wife has, if she's her maid, like she's her servant.
Right.
So, like Yahweh mentioned earlier, you do what I tell you, right? I'm
don't
gonna
have
bring
no say.
now, not that you don't have a say, but ultimately, the decision is mine to make, and I want you to do this thing for me, so I can have a child. Now, like I said, she's not gonna force her to do it, because remember, you still gotta be willing to lay down with this man in order to. But they probably had the conversation. Look, she's barren. Rachel's barren, right? We want you to be the surrogate for her child. You don't have to raise a child. You can nurse the child, whatever. But Rachel's going to be the mother, so to speak, plainly speaking.
And you also got to look at it from Bilhah's point of view too. That she was just a servant. She didn't have anybody.
Right.
So that would that also increase her status to some degree?
No, remember, she's still a handmaid.
She's still a handmaid.
She's not a wife. She's not a wife. She's a concubine and a handmaid. So she has her place, so to speak. It does. It sounds cruel, but that's the rules of how it went. She's a concubine. She doesn't have the same rule. That's the difference between a wife and a concubine. A wife has status. A concubine has a lesser status, like for lack of a better term, a side chick or a side woman. You know what I mean? She doesn't have the same stature as your wife or your main woman or whatever have you. She can't get the same benefits as being the wife, or else she would be one. You know what I'm saying? Right. Exactly. All right. Let's get back to it. Where do we leave off?
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 30 and verse. I'm going to start from 7 again.
Okay.
And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again, and bare Jacob a second son. And Rachel said, with great wrestling have I wrestled with my sister.
Right. Now you see how they're naming these children based off of the dysfunction and the scenarios that's going on. She said, I'm wrestling with my sister. Me and my sister are at odds right now. I'm struggling against my sister. She's having all the children. I can't have any.
So these are the things that are on their mind.
Right.
When they're having these children.
And go ahead.
They name them after that.
And they name them after the situation. Unlike how, I don't know if y'all didn't see it talk about it last week, but remember how we were saying how Americans, they just name their children whatever. There was really no meaning to it, right? They just decide to pick a name and, it's like you draw a name out of a hat.
Yeah.
But when we name our children in the scriptures, children are named based off of what's going on, prophecy, or what the child's purpose was. Okay? Now, like we're seeing here, she named him, as we're going to see, Naphtali, because she's wrestling with her sister. She's at odds with her sister. Right? And that's what Naphtali means, my wrestling. All right? Read that verse.
And Rachel said, with great wrestling have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali.
Naphtali, right? Go ahead.
When Leah saw that she had left barren, she took Zilpah, her maid, and gave her Jacob to wife.
Right. So now notice she said gave Jacob to wife. Right?
So that's his wife?
So that's his wife.
And she's
She's Leah's handmaid. right?
Of another nation?
No, she's still a Hebrew, as far as we know, right? Go ahead.
And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a son. And Leah said, a troop cometh. And she called his name Gad.
Gad means a troop coming, meaning there's an army coming, right? There's an army of children coming. All right, go ahead.
And Leah said, a troop cometh. And she called his name Gad. And Zilpah, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said, happy am I, for the daughters will call me blessed. And she called his name Asher.
Asher means happy, like we say Ashar. Ashar Shabbath, happy Sabbath, right? The name of his son Ashar, happy, right? Go ahead.
And Reuben went in the days of wheat harvest and found mandrakes in the field and brought them unto his mother Leah. Then Rachel said unto Leah, give me, I pray thee, of thy son mandrakes. And she said unto her, is it a small matter that thou hast taken my husband?
Right, like first you take my husband. First you take my husband, now you trying to take my mandrakes? Go ahead.
And wouldest thou take away my son's mandrakes also?
Yes, first you take my husband, now you trying to take my mandrakes, right? What else you trying to take from me? Go ahead.
So Rachel said, therefore he shall lie with thee tonight for thy son's mandrake.
Right, so now she trying to sell Jacob back to Leah for the mandrakes. just passing Jacob around
I'm
like he's a
telling
piece
you.
of meat.
Now, you know that mandrakes was a plant. It says,
It's an aphrodisiac.
yeah, it says a root that was believed to increase fertility.
See, there it is.
Oh.
Now think about this. Think about this for a second. You have mandrakes?
Oh, you have it?
Is it good?
We had it in the island.
Is it good? I've never had it before.
I didn't do it. Yeah, it's still got to do it.
Oh,
It's like
Wait.
because think about this for a second, right? Think about this. Just think about this. Remember, all these children are being born, so time is passing on. At least a year for every pregnancy, right?
Right.
At the least for
Those ladies age.
right. They age, so things don't work as they do when you're in your 20s and your 30s, right? So they need a little extra help. It happens. We got that technology today.
And plus, they were fighting with each other.
Right.
Viagra.
Jacob, who can give him the most babies?
Right. Who can give him the most children, right? Go on.
Verse 16. And Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him, and said, thou must come in unto me, for surely I have hired thee with my son mandrakes.
Mm-hmm.
Smart, yeah.
That's that. She said, give me some. Give me some tonight. You gotta give me some tonight, Jake.
Yeah, you must come.
You got to give me some tonight, Jacob.
Yeah, the mandrakes, so that's
All right. I got listen, I traded some mandrakes for you tonight. Give me some tonight. Let's go. All right, go ahead.
And he lay with her that night.
Yep, and you see Jacob is not turning it down. He's not saying, look, I'm tired of y'all.
Right?
He never said any of that. I'm tired of listen, all y'all do is fight and y'all just use me for sex. I'm tired of this. Y'all giving me y'all handmaids and this, that, and the third. Y'all using me to fight between y'all. What is this? What's up, Mike?
It doesn't seem that he was tired.
Doesn't say he was tired at all.
But you know what? Okay, just think about the distress though. Like, we got all these kids and you two still fighting. After all this time, you two are still fighting over me. Right?
But when you look at it, he still loved Rachel.
Yeah.
He and Rachel is still close.
Yeah.
No matter what. No matter what. He and Rachel was still close.
Yeah.
But he had to put her in check when she.
You understand?
We gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Oh, you mean when
Yeah,
when he said
She said she almost
yeah,
died.
yeah, she's
That's I died.
yeah, he had to correct her.
Man.
He had to correct her. So listen, that ain't me. That's the Most High doing that to you. Okay, read on.
Verse 17. And God hearkened unto Leah, and she conceived, and bare Jacob the fifth son.
Right, Leah had another son, right? Go ahead.
And Leah said, God hath given me my hire, because I have given my maiden to my husband. And she called his name Issachar.
Issachar means he is hired. He is hired. Okay, Yeshashakar, he is hired. Okay, you read on.
And Leah conceived again, and bare Jacob the sixth son.
So Leah's having most of the children. She's going, like, she's fulfilling, she's being the wife that she wanted to be.
You would think she was tired.
Bearing all these children, right? Go ahead.
And Leah said, God hath endue me with a good dowry. Now will my husband dwell with me, because I have bore him 6 sons. And she called his name Zebulun.
Zebulun means my dwelling, right? Dwelling. So notice she says, now maybe my husband will dwell with me. So what does that tell you?
Stay with her. Make her, you know.
No, that they weren't living together. He lived with Rachel.
Right.
She probably lived in, or she had her own tent over here, and they stayed in a tent over here. And she said, maybe just now, after 6 kids, maybe he'll stay with me. Right?
He's gonna move in because guess what?
We got all the kids.
Yes, we have all the
We got all these kids.
He's gonna move over with me.
All sons.
And they're all sons.
You know?
Yep. So see, she's still fighting for her husband's love 6 children later. Isn't that something?
Yes.
And her age, she must have.
And they're not getting any, right, they're not getting any younger. Right? Now, check this out, right? They've been married at this point for at least 13 years. At least. No, I'm bugging. At least 20-something years. Because, remember, he had to serve for 7, right? Then, hold on, maybe my
14.
No. 13 years. I was right the first time. I was right the first time. 13 years because he got married. They married after the first 7 years. Then he had to serve another 7 years for Rachel. Then they started having all the kids. And now they have 6 kids. That's at least a year for every child. We don't know the age differences between the children, right? So at least for 13 years.
How much age was Jacob? How old he was? And
Don't
then
say.
Rachel.
Doesn't say. Right? It doesn't say. So at the very least, for at least 13 years, she's fighting for her husband's love. Think about that. Think of trying to convince your husband that you are a worthy wife for 13 years after 6 children. You would think, right? But no. Or brothers, think of if you were married to a woman for such and such time trying to fight for this woman's love. You would probably quit after a certain time, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Listen, we quit in a heartbeat. You know? But
This ain't
she's still
working out.
fighting, huh?
It would be like, this ain't working out.
This ain't it. I'm out. I can't do this no more. Right? But she kept the faith and said, maybe my husband will love me now. Maybe he'll love me now. Maybe he'll stay with me. Maybe he'll not necessarily leave her, but maybe I can get some of that same attention.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can get some of that same love that he's given.
That's what she was expecting from him. The attention that he gave to Rachel. She, you know, she wanted to be that important person too. You know?
That's my husband. I married him first. He was my husband before he was yours. And you tried to take him from me. Right?
Whichever way you take it, Rachel was his wife first because Rachel met him first. He loved Rachel first. Nothing can change that. Rachel was his first wife.
That was the love of his life, right?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
That's why the Most High gave Rachel Joseph.
Verse 21. And afterwards she bare a daughter, and called her name Dinah.
Right. Dinah is the same. It's the female version of Dan, which is judgment. All right. Judge. Okay. Yes. Dinah. Okay. Go ahead. Read 22.
And God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her, and opened her womb.
Right. So it's the same thing that Rebecca did. Right. Where she finally was able to conceive. So she prayed, right? She prayed to the Most High and said, please I want to have children. I want to bear my husband children. And the Most High, I finally acknowledged her, listened to her, and opened up her womb and allowed her to conceive. Right? Go ahead.
And she conceived and bare a son, and said, God had taken away my reproach.
See, now remember what I said earlier? It was whatchamacallit? It was a scorn, right? It was a shame for women not to be able to bear children. And she was especially ashamed of it, that she couldn't bear children. Now she's like, the Most High took away that reproach. I can have children now. Right? Go ahead.
And she called his name Joseph.
Joseph means he will add, right? He will add. Go ahead.
And said, the Lord shall add to me another son.
See, there you go. He will add. Yawasop. Okay, Yawasop. Right? Go ahead.
And it came to pass when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, send me away, that I may go unto mine own place and to my country.
He said, all right, look, it's time for me to go. I got to get away from you. All right? Me and my wife, my family, we got to go. All right? Go ahead.
Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served thee, and let me go, for thou knowest my service which I have done thee.
Right. Remember, we read in Deuteronomy where after 7 years, you're supposed to let them go, and you're supposed to give in abundance, right? They can stay on their own accord. But if they want to leave, you are not supposed to hold on to them. You ain't supposed to keep them there. You're supposed to let them go and give them some stuff to leave with. Severance package, as we talk about, right? Go on.
27. And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes, tarry, for I have learned.
Go ahead.
For I have learned by experience that the Lord hath blessed me for thy sake.
See, there you go. Now Laban is like, no, I need you to stay because the Most High is using you, brother. The Most High is using you to bless me. So now he's not even thinking about Jacob's well-being. He's just thinking about what he can get from him. Right? That's all he cares about in this scenario. Go on.
And he said, appoint me thy wages, and I will give it.
He said, look, I'll give you whatever you want, man. Just tell me what you want, and I'll give it to you. If you stay, just tell me what you need. Tell me what you want. Right? Go ahead.
And he said unto him, thou knowest how I have served thee, and how thy cattle was with
He's
me.
like, look, man, ever since I've been here, I've been serving you. Like, I've been keeping your cattle, and I've been basically running things here, right? Go on.
For it was little which thou hadst before I came.
You didn't have much when I first pulled up on the scene, right?
And it is now increased into a multitude.
And now you have a bunch. Ever since I've been here, you have multiplied exceedingly, right? Go ahead.
And the Lord hath blessed thee since my coming.
And the Most High has definitely blessed you since I showed up here. I've been a blessing and an asset to you, Unc. Go ahead.
And now, when shall I provide for my own house?
Right.
Also?
He said, look, when can I? Now it's my turn to. I got a family now. I got all these kids. I got these wives, these women. Let me go so I can be a good family, a good man to my family. Hold that. Give me 1 Timothy 5 and 8. Because this is what a man is supposed to do, right?
This is the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 5 and verse 8.
Come on.
But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house.
Of his own house, right? His wives, his children, right? Go ahead.
He had denied the faith.
He denied the faith.
And is worse than an infidel.
And he's worse than an unbeliever, right? That's what an infidel is. He's worse. You are worse. 1 Timothy 5 and 8. Okay? 1 Timothy 5 and 8. Hold that. I want to see if this actually falls in line with it. Something that I got written here. Second, that's 3. Yeah, get me 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 7. And we're going to read 7 to 12.
Second Thessalonians.
Second Thessalonians chapter 3, verses 7 to 12.
This is the book of Second Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 7. For yourselves know how ye ought to follow us, for we behave not ourselves disorderly among you.
Right, so Paul was saying, listen, y'all know how we behaved around when it came to when we were around y'all. Look at how we behaved, right? Go ahead.
Neither did we eat any man's bread for naught.
Right, so we didn't take from anybody, right? We didn't just take whatever we wanted from anybody, right? Go ahead.
But work with labor and travail night and day.
Right,
that we might not be chargeable to any of you.
Right, we worked for everything that we got. All the food and raiment that we got, all the lodging that we had, we paid for it. We didn't just leech off of anybody. Right, go ahead.
Not because we have not power, but to make ourselves an ensample unto you to follow us.
Right, not because we weren't able to. If we wanted to, we could have, lived off of the congregation, but we didn't want to do that because we want y'all to be. We want to be an example to you. Right, go ahead.
For even when we were with you, this we commended you.
Right, when we were with y'all, this is what we told y'all. We taught y'all to do this. Right, go ahead.
That if any man would not work, neither should he eat.
If a man don't work, guess what? He ain't eating. Men are supposed to work. We have to work. Right? And if you have a wife and children, or wives and multiple children, you are supposed to work to provide for them. And this is the mindset that Jacob had. He's like, look, I have to provide for my wife and my children, my wives and my children. I have to leave. I gotta go. I can't stay under your umbrella, under your roof forever. Go ahead.
For we hear that there are some which walk among you disorderly, working not at all, but are busybodies.
And we hear that you got lazy Negroes up in y'all congregation, just sitting around chit-chatting, not doing nothing, just wasting space, right? Just taking up resources, not putting in your brick, not doing the work, not providing for their own families. They just sitting up in there chit-chatting and talking, not being productive. Exactly. We don't need those people around you. We don't need people in those type of people in the congregation. Okay, it ain't about numbers. It's about the few that are willing to put the brick in. Okay, that's what we need, and that's what they had in there. All right, go ahead.
Now then, that are such command and exhort by our Lord Yahushua, that with quietness they work and eat their own bread.
Work and eat their own bread. We listen. We implore that y'all get them a job and put them to work. That way they can care for themselves and provide for themselves. All right. Let's go back to Genesis. Where do we leave off? 37?
Genesis chapter 20. What was it? 27?
20. No, we're in 30.
30.
In verse 31.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 30 and verse 31. And he said, what shall I give thee? And Jacob said, thou shalt not give me anything.
Right. He said, I don't want anything from you. Because Laban's trying to convince him to stay. So that way he can keep reaping off of Jacob's work. Right? Go ahead.
If thou wilt do this thing for me, I will again feed and keep thy flock. I will pass through all thy flock today, removing from thence all the speckled and spotted cattle, and all the brown cattle among the sheep.
Right. So he said, I'm going to go through your flocks, and I'm going to take the spotted, the speckled and spotted cattle, right? And all the brown cattle from among the sheep,
and the spotted and speckled among the goats, and of such shall be mine, my hire.
Right. So he said, I'm going to take all the spotted and speckled sheep and cows and goats for myself. Right. That's what I'm going to take. That's going to be my portion for what this work was. Right. Go ahead.
So shall my righteousness answer for me in time to come.
Right.
When it shall come for my hire before thy face. Every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats and brown among the sheep, that shall be counted stolen with me.
Right. So all the ones that are not, that means that's how you know this. They're yours, and I took them. Right. Go ahead.
And Laban said, Behold, I would it might be according to thy word.
Right. Go ahead.
And he removed that day the goats, and he removed that day the he goats that were
Ring striped.
And spotted,
Uh-huh.
and all the sheep goats that were speckled and spotted,
Uh-huh.
and every one that had some white in it, and all the brown among the sheep, and gave them into the hand of his sons.
Mm-hmm.
And he set 3 days' journey betwixt himself and Jacob, and Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob took his rod of green, how you pronounce that? Poplar, and of hazel and chestnut tree,
Uh-huh.
and pilled white
straights
in them, and made the white appear which was in the rod.
Right. So he marked the sheep and the goats. Right. Go ahead.
And he set the rod which he had piled before the flocks in the gutter, in the water through
Water troughs.
the water troughs, when the flocks came to drink,
Mm-hmm.
that they should conceive when they came to drink.
Mm-hmm.
And the flocks conceived before the rod, and brought forth cattle, ring straight, speckled and spotted.
Right. So he started to multiply those sheeps and goats that he actually took from Laban. Right. So that way he can generate his own. Go ahead.
But the way he did it, though,
Mm-hmm.
he put these images up in front of these cows
Mm-hmm.
when they made it, and that was some kind of transition between the cows and their birth. That when they birthed, their cows were spotted and
Mm-hmm.
ringed and whatnot.
There is selective breeding, so to
Right,
speak.
and that thing is true today.
Mhm.
You have a woman that's pregnant, and if she suffers some kind of trauma or some
Mhm.
kind of, something, harsh.
It
or
passes on to
whatever,
the child.
It would pass on to the child.
Mhm.
And now you see childs coming up with, oh, that's my birthmark,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. That's where that comes from.
Yep.
This is where that comes from.
I've often heard that birthmarks are like wounds from a past life or something like that. I don't know if y'all have ever heard that before. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I've been told. Like in your past life, like if you got a birthmark, say like on your arm or your shoulder, that means you got like your arm cut off or some foolishness. I don't believe it, but that's what I've been told. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 40. And Jacob did separate the lambs, and set the faces of the flocks towards the ringstake, and all the brown in the flocks of Laban. And he put his own flocks by themselves, and put them not unto Laban's cattle.
Right. So he separated them, basically. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, whensoever the stronger cattle did conceive, that Jacob laid the rod before the eyes of the cattle in the gutters, that they might conceive among the rods.
Right. So he's basically performing like selective breeding, like seeing which cattle would produce the strongest cattle. Right. Go ahead.
But when the cattle were feeble, he put them not in. So the feebler were Laban's, and the stronger Jacob's.
Right.
And the man increased exceedingly, and had much cattle, and manservant and maidservant, camels and asses.
Right. So jump down to, I want to jump ahead. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, let's see, spoiled. Okay, this is where I want to jump down to chapter 35. Yes. No. Where is it where Rachel hid the whatchamacallit? Yeah.
Oh, that's for
Is that in 33? No. It's 32. It might be 31.
Yeah. 31.
31, starting where?
31, 34.
Okay, start at verse 17.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 31, and verse 17. Then Jacob rose up and set his sons and his wives upon camels.
Right, just to jump ahead real fast, Jacob and Laban had finally come to an arrangement for him to leave. He took the spotted calves with him, and this, that, and the third, right? Go ahead.
And he carried away all his cattle and all his goods, which he had gotten, the cattle of his getting, which he had gotten in Padamaram, for to go to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan. And Laban went to share his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the images that were her father's.
Ah, see, there you go. So now we know what's wrong with Rachel. Okay, she's a thief and she's an idolater. She's a thief and she's an idolater. She stole these little statues, like something like this, or something like this, right? She stole something like that from her father, right? Go ahead.
And Jacob stole away unawareness to Laban's the Syrian.
Right. See, Jacob didn't know that she stole it. Right. Go ahead.
In that he told him not that he fled.
Right. So he just left. He didn't say anything. He just got up and bounced. Right. Right. Had enough of him. Go ahead.
So he fled with all that he had, and he rose up and passed over the river. And set his face towards the Mount Gilead. And it was told Laban on the third day that Jacob was fled.
So it took him 3 days to figure out that Jacob was gone.
Wow.
3 days. What was he doing? Right. What was he doing for 3 days that he didn't notice that Jacob was gone?
He didn't see his daughters. He didn't see his grandchildren.
Didn't see the sheep either.
You got a poppy fees over there, probably.
What? Say what?
You got poppy fees over there, probably was high.
Doing God knows what, right?
Or some mandrakes.
Read on.
And he took his brethren with him and pursued after him 7 days journey, and they overtook him in Mount Gilead.
So it took him 7 days to catch up, right? Go ahead.
And God came to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night, and said unto him, Take heed that thou speak not to Jacob either good or bad.
Right, so the Most High came to Laban and said, watch what you say to him. Right. Better watch your mouth to him. That's my boy, right? That's my servant. You better watch what you say to him.
Neither good nor bad.
Neither good nor bad. You better speak to him plain. Don't speak against him. Don't even flatter him. Just watch what you say. Choose your words carefully. All right, go ahead.
Then Laban overlooked Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mount, and Laban went with his brethren pitch in the mount of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, What hast thou done, that thou hast stolen away unawares to me, and carried away my daughters as captives taken with the sword?
Now check that out. You see how he's trying to you see how he's trying to twist the narrative? He said, why did you steal from me and you took my daughters captive?
They're my wives.
They're my wives. What are you talking about? I told you I was trying to leave. Yo, Laban is the devil, man. It's crazy. Disrespectful and just lying, right? Yeah, a Negro. And this is his family. This is his uncle. Right, go ahead.
Wherefore didst thou flee away secretly?
Right, why'd you leave in secret?
And steal away from me?
And stole from me, right?
And didst not tell me that I might have sent thee away with mirth and with songs and tablet? Is that tabret?
Tabret. Tabret.
And with harp.
And with harp, right? I would have sent you away on a high note if you had said something, right? Go ahead.
And has not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters. thou hast now done foolishly in doing so. In so doing.
So, didn't the Most High tell him, watch what you say to Jacob?
Mm-hmm.
Watch what you say to him. And did Laban watch his tongue? No. No. Right? Go ahead.
But he already asked his wives, before
Yeah.
he left.
Like, yo, we out. Yeah, we out.
We out, yeah.
We're not staying here. We
had nothing else there.
There's nothing here for us.
Right.
We were supposed to leave our father's house.
Exactly.
Right? Go ahead.
It is in the power of my hand to do you hurt.
See, now he's trying to threaten him. So yeah, I could hurt you, right? I could put harm to you. Right? Go ahead.
But the God of your father spake unto me yesterday night, saying, take thou heed that thou speak not to Jacob neither good or bad.
Right. So you're like, I could do you harm, but you know what? The Most High told me not to. Right? Go ahead.
And now, though thou wouldest need be gone, because thou sore longest after thy father's house, yet wherefore hast thou stolen my gods?
He said, look, you would need to be gone, right? But why did you have to steal from me? You didn't have to steal from me to leave. And look how Jacob responds.
And Jacob answered and said unto Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, peradventure, thou wouldest take by force thy daughters from me.
Right. He said, if I told you that I was trying to leave, you will withhold your daughters, my wives, from me. Right? Go
What
ahead.
he's basically saying is you're shady.
Yeah, you was a shady dude.
Exactly.
You was a shady Negro. I can't trust you. I can't be upfront with you.
Right.
I can't trust you because you're shady. Right? Go on.
With whomsoever thou findest thy gods, let him not live.
Right. Kill whoever stole from you. Right? Go ahead.
Before our brethren discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee, for Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen them.
Right. Jacob didn't know that Rachel had stolen the idols, right?
Would have crushed him. If he'd have found it with her, she had to be put to death.
Yep. Go ahead.
And Laban went in unto Jacob's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the two handmaids' tents, but he found them not. Then went he out to Leah's tent, and entered into Rachel's tent.
Right. So he checked everybody's tent until he got to Rachel's. Go ahead.
Now Rachel had taken the images and put them in the camel's furniture, and sat upon them.
Right, and sat upon them. She hid them underneath her legs and her bottom. Right. Go ahead.
And Laban searched all the tent, but found them not.
Right. Go ahead.
And she said unto her father, let it not displease my lord that I cannot rise up before thee, for the custom of women is upon me.
She's lying. She's saying, she said, I'm on my menstrual cycle. I can't stand up in front of you. Lying, scratch a lie, you find a thief. Yep.
She wasn't that close with the Lord either.
You say, you did something and then you say it's not you.
She wasn't that close with the Most High either.
No, she
Not
wasn't.
Like Leah was.
No. And if she's stealing idols, you know what I'm saying? She ain't worshiping the Most High correctly. And this is the man that he married. He wanted to marry her. Right?
That's why she went to Jacob and said, give me job. Jacob, am I the Most High?
Love her so much then. Look what's there.
Go on.
And he searched and found not the images.
Right.
And Jacob was wroth and charged with Laban.
Right. So he was mad with him and started arguing with him. Go ahead.
And Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my trespass? What is my sin that thou hast so hotly pursued after me?
Right. He said, what did I do for you to run after me like this?
He gonna break up.
Like, why are you treating me like this, Laban? You're supposed to be my family, my blood, my kin. Why are you doing me like this? First, you wouldn't let me, you tricked me, right? You made me serve 7 years for the wrong woman, made me serve another 7 years for this woman. kept me here with my wives and my children way beyond the time, and now you running after me when I'm trying to leave. You won't let me go. Right? Go ahead.
What is my sin that thou hast so hotly pursued after me? Whereas thou hast searched all my stuff, what hast thou found of all thy household stuff? Set it here before my brethren and thy brethren, that they might judge betwixt us both.
Right, like lay it. That's what I've termed. Lay it all out in front of everybody. Let's lay it all out on the table. That's what that comes from. Lay it out so they can judge us. Right, go ahead.
This 20 years
How
have
long?
I been.
How long?
20 years
20 years. He's been in his house for 20 years. Right, go ahead.
have I been with thee. Thy
Ewes.
And thy she-goats have not cast their young, and the rams of thy flocks have I not eaten.
Right.
That which was torn of beasts I bought not unto thee.
Right.
I bear the loss of it. Of my hands didst thou require it.
Right.
Whether stolen by day or stolen by night.
Right. So he's just like, yo, I've been working for you for 20 years. I never cheated you. I never shortchanged you. I never gave you some animal that was killed by other animals, by predators. Everything that I've done, everything righteously. Right. Jump down to verse 43.
And Laban answered and said unto Jacob, These daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and these cattle are my cattle, and all that thou seest is mine. And what can I do this day unto thee, these my daughters, or unto these their children which they have borne? Now therefore come thou, let us make a covenant, I and thou, and let it be for a witness between me and thee. And Jacob took a stone and set it up for a pillar. And Jacob said unto his brethren, Gather stones. And they took stones and made an heap, and they did eat thereupon the heap. And Laban called it, how you pronounce that?
It's called Jagarsa Hadutha.
Okay.
Jagarsa Hadutha. Okay? Just say Jagar, okay?
Jagar. But Jacob called it
Gilead.
Gilead.
All right. Jump to where we find that Rachel dies. Okay, jump down to 35, chapter 35, and we're gonna start at verse. We're gonna jump down to verse 9, 35 and 9. Then we're gonna close out there.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 35 and verse 9. And God appeared unto Jacob again when he came out of Padan Aram, and blessed him.
Yep.
And God said unto him, Thy name is Jacob. Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall thy name. And he called his name Israel.
Right. Y'all know what Israel means, right? Prince of power, Prince of the Most High, right? Go ahead.
And God said unto him, I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall be of thee, and kings shall come out of thy loins.
Right. So he's reconfirming the covenant that he made with Abraham and Isaac. Right. Go on.
And the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed after thee will I give the land. And God went up from him into a place where he talked with him. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with him, even a pillar of stone. And he poured a drink offering thereon, and he poured oil thereon. And Jacob called the name of the place where God spake with him Bethel.
Bethel means house of God, Bayathala, right? House of the Most High, right? Go ahead.
And they journeyed from Bethel, and there was but a little way to come to Ephrath. Ephrath. And Rachel travailed, and she had hard labor.
Right. Rachel was pregnant at this time. Rachel finally conceived another child, right? Go ahead.
And it came to pass when she was in hard labor that the midwife said unto her, Fear not, thou shalt have this son also.
Right. So she's saying, listen, don't be afraid. This child will live, right? You and this child will live, right? Go ahead.
And it came to pass as her soul was departing, for she died.
Right, for she died. Rachel died, right? Go ahead.
That she called his name Benian, but his father called him Benoni. But his father called him Benjamin.
Right, Benjamin. So Benoni means son of my sorrow, right? But Benjamin or Benyamin means what? Son of my right hand, right? Son of my right hand. Okay, go ahead.
And Rachel died and was buried in the way of Ephraim, which is Bethlehem.
Bethlehem. Where who's born in Bethlehem? Yahushai, right. So go ahead, read on.
And Jacob set a pillar upon her grave. That is the pillar of Rachel's grave unto this day.
Right. So if you really look up Rachel's grave, they actually have a grave site for it. If you look it up real fast, Yahweh, look up Rachel's grave. They actually have like an actual site for it.
Rachel's grave.
Yeah, Rachel's grave. If you could put it on the screen, that would be great. If you can. Because it's still there.
Rachel.
You see it, Caleb? Oh, no. Rachel's grave. Like a Google image. If you can find a Google image, put it on the screen for people. Rachel's grave.
I found it.
You found it? You see it, right?
Yeah, I see it.
I want to put it on the screen.
It's located just outside of Bethlehem, along the road of the forefathers that connect Nubia and Hebron.
Nubia
Rachel-
and Hebron, you said?
And maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. Nablus.
It's
N.A.
at Rachel's tomb.
Put up the image.
Map?
Pull up the image. Pull up the image first.
Oh,
Of course, you got Amalek defiling the place, defiling one of our mother's temples. The image tab, yeah. See?
Rachel's tomb.
No, not that one. Pick a different one. Go. Keep going. Try the next one.
Rachel in Bethlehem.
Scroll down. Okay, you see that the one with the temple with the green shroud in the middle? It's the big one. Yeah, that one. Blow up that one. Can you blow it up some more? Or no. View image. No, that's not. No. Okay, back out of that one. Hit the right arrow. Hit it again.
This is tomb of Rachel.
Some more Rachel. What does it say? See the Holy Land. Does it have like a? It doesn't have an interactive view, does it? No, right?
No.
What is? That says Kwabar Rakal. Tomb of Rachel. Right there it is. That's it. It looked like not Amalek. It looked like what's his name put a dome on top of it. So y'all see where Caleb? Where did you say it was?
Located outside of Bethlehem, along the road of the forefathers that connects Nablus and Hebron.
In Hebron, right? So it's in that area in what's that? North Israel. Bethlehem is in the north, if I'm not mistaken, right? So y'all see where that they still have her tomb to this day.
So she wasn't buried with Jacob?
No,
No.
No. Remember, Jacob.
Rachel died before Leah,
Mm-hmm.
Remember that Jacob, Leah was the one, Rachel died with her second son.
Mm-hmm. We just read it.
Only died before.
Yeah, she died before Leah.
Yep. So now just imagine how Jacob is feeling at this point because his favorite wife is dead now. He's probably we don't see it, but he's probably like in dire straits.
You don't have to hack so
But
much.
she was having hard labor.
Huh?
She was having hard
Yeah, she was having a hard labor.
Had hard labor with Benjamin.
She must have was older than.
Yeah, remember this is like 20 years at this point. 20 years have passed between this, like when they got married and when she dies. So you can pretty much imagine how he's feeling, right?
So Joseph is way older than Jacob, than the boy, than Benjamin. You think this big?
He could be. He could be. Remember, Reuben was the firstborn, so he had to be at least 20 years older than or at least 13, I mean. At least 15 years older than him.
Older than Rachel, two sons.
Mm-hmm. They were the last two.
Joseph was the second to last, and then
Benjamin was last. He's the baby.
they were the very young ones.
He's the baby. In fact, we're going to go over the names right here. Go ahead, read on to 21. We're going to close out the chapter, and that's it.
What verse we at?
21.
This
Water
is
for
the
that,
book of
Yehuda.
Genesis
Let's hit the
35.
water for that. 35 and 21.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 35 and verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
And Israel journeyed and spread his tent beyond the tower of Edar.
Edar, right? Go ahead.
And it came to pass when Israel dwelt in the land that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine.
Oh, that was a big no-no. Big no-no, right? In fact, it's a law. Get Leviticus 18 and 1. And Reuben doesn't realize it at the moment, but he cost him his own birthright.
Right.
By doing that, he took his own birthright. Okay? Read Leviticus 18 and 8.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
The nakedness of thy father's wife
Mm-hmm.
shalt thou not uncover.
Thou shalt not uncover it, right? Go ahead.
It is thy father's
It
nakedness.
is thy father's nakedness. You're not supposed to sleep with your father's wife. You're not supposed to do that. Go ahead, Yahweh.
And this also was with what's his name? Ham.
He saw his father's nakedness.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
he saw his father's nakedness.
Now jump to First Chronicles. Right? Jump to First Chronicles chapter 5 and verse 1.
This is the book of First Chronicles, chapter 5 and verse 1. Now the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel,
Mm-hmm.
for he was the firstborn.
For he was the firstborn. Remember, it says, see a son, right? Go ahead.
But for as much as he defiled his father's bed,
Right, he defiled his father's bed. He slept with his father's concubine, right?
his birthright was given unto the sons of Joseph, the son of Israel.
The sons of Joseph, the son of Israel, right?
And the genealogy is not to be reckoned after the birthright.
Right, they don't reckon the genealogy after birthright. It's order of sons. Now, who knows why the blessing was given to Joseph? I don't know if y'all remember, Rakah had mentioned this a long time ago.
Okay, he wasn't with his brothers. When he left, his brothers killed him.
No. Why was the birthright given to Joseph instead of the other sons that were older than him?
Because he
Because
wasn't there.
the second wife.
He was the firstborn of the second wife.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Right? He remember Leah's firstborn was Reuben. Rachel's firstborn was Joseph. They were wives. They were not, okay? Remember he had more children with concubines too. And then Leah had other sons. So he didn't just pass off it like that. Now if he had all his sons with Leah, then it would have passed on to, I believe, Simeon, which was Simeon. But because he had a firstborn of a second wife, Joseph gets the birthright. right?
Con.
Let's go back to Genesis and close out. It says, and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine. So yeah, he tarnished his birthright after that, right?
Right.
So read on.
What verse?
22,
22.
35 and 22.
And it came to pass when Israel dwelt in the land that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12.
Sons of Jacob were 12, right? Go ahead.
The sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, Dan and Naphtali.
Right.
The son of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, Gad and Asher. These are the sons of Jacob, which were born to him in Padan Aram.
Right. So all these children were born to him in Padan Aram. So notice it says Leah first, then Rachel, then the concubines. That's why there's the order, right? Even though there are children that were older than Joseph and right, they're concubines. Now they still have an inheritance, but because they're the sons of concubines, they have a lesser status, so to speak. Okay. And if you look at the northern kingdom, sometimes they're just there. Sometimes. Okay, they're still our brothers, don't get me wrong, they're still our brothers and sisters. But sometimes they're Israelites, but sometimes they just
It's how the Most High Yahweh because he's the one who
I work with us in the middle of
letting
your
you
story.
know
Come on, man.
who wives,
absolutely.
So he makes certain sure he let you know that Leah's children, Rachel's children, and
Then the concubine children, yup.
and that's the Most High.
That's how he has it. That's the order.
That's why we have to keep his commandments. He have everything commanded good. Laws. Whatever you take, you have to obey the Most High and do what he does.
That's right.
You gotta get the 10 tribe. What that drug that's calm you down?
Huh?
Tranquilizer.
A tranquilizer?
Hyper,
Can't-
man.
Can't,
Calm down. Loud, calm down. You need to mellow out some.
it's funny because the northern kingdom tribes, right? You wouldn't like they don't not to say that all of them don't like they're not all I think it's mostly Ephraim and Simeon that really like latch on to Judah. Right? The other ones, they just be like, whatever. You know? And that's how it is in the rest of the scriptures. When you read about how remember Simeon's land was within Judah's land, right? And then Ephraim became the head of the northern tribes. So they always dealt with us in a way. And even today, they always deal with us in a certain way. But the other tribes, sometimes you don't even know that they're there.
Yeah.
Right? And you even look at like, okay, which tribe is the Panamanians? I think there's Zebulon. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
There's Zebulon, right?
yeah.
How many Panamanians do you know?
Not much.
Too many.
I know like maybe 3 off the top of my head.
And not from right over here by St. Anne Street.
Say that again?
Here in Brooklyn.
I had 2 supermarkets.
See, you wouldn't know that they're Panamanian unless they said it. You know, they're just there, and sometimes they get treated.
From Panama.
Huh?
Panama.
Yeah, some people from Panama. Yes. You know, so sometimes how many do you know? Do you know any? Like I said, I know like 3 or 4 off the top of my head.
I know a lot of Caribbean went to build the Panama Canal, so they left a lot of children.
Is Panama a Caribbean?
It's Central American,
Oh.
so to speak. It's a Central American country. Like
Okay, so it's
you got the Pacific Ocean on one side, the Atlantic Ocean on the other side. So it's like in that little strip between North and South America. That's where it's at. It's not an island.
it's a part of America.
It's like,
It's right here.
yeah, show her real fast.
It's right here. That little strip.
That little strip that from Colombia. Yeah, right. It's
And the Pacific.
so I actually went to Panama last year, right? And what they told us was that the area between the southern border of Panama and the northern border of Colombia is just straight forest. Like, it's straight forest. They don't even have roads there. They don't have bridges. It's just no people live there. It's just a complete wilderness, because what happens is Panama used to be controlled by the Colombians, right? And what happened was they don't want to build any roads between them because of the drug trade. They don't want people trafficking drugs and people through that area into Panama.
Well, you have people who goes to Panama.
People live there, yeah. People live in Panama, but like I say, a lot of times you wouldn't even like. Do you know any Argentinian people?
When I was working at a job.
See,
So,
like
kitchen.
they're not there. Do you know any Brazilians?
Just the nuts.
No.
Do you know any? Do you know any Peruvians? Do you know any? Yeah, I know one Peruvian woman. One. Do you know any Chileans?
Nope.
Nope. Yeah, from Chile. I don't. Do you know any? Well, give me some other South American countries. Guyana's in South America, but we know Guyanese people. Uruguay. Do you know any of these people?
No.
Do you know any Paraguayans?
No.
Do you know any
Somalians.
Somalians?
Seminole.
Seminole Indians? Well, okay,
Seminole.
so Seminole Indians
I know
live
one.
in Florida. I know like maybe like two or
One.
three. Right. I believe, I'm not mistaken, I gotta talk to Gabar about this, but I believe her grandmother was Seminole. I believe. I'm not exactly sure. Do you know any
It's Colombian.
Red Fox.
well, we see Colombians on it. Do you know any Venezuelans?
Yeah.
You know some Venezuelans?
No, I don't.
I don't know any. I don't know any.
The kitchen, you really work in the kitchen, you have all kinds. You have Venezuelan, Mexican, you have all of them mixed up in there. I am dealing with them.
Oh, so yeah, Issachar is
We know
close with
tons
us
of
too.
Issachar.
Huh?
We know tons of Issachar.
We know tons of Issachar. Between it's Ephraim, Issachar, and Simeon that we deal with the most, right? But the other tribes, and that's because what we related to? Well, of course we're related to them, but
Even the Levites.
The brother that I know as a Simeon, what do you call it? A Seminole. When I tell him who he is, he's like, you don't know what
I don't know. Man,
So what tribes are we? We can't be
Benjamin.
all here.
Not all. Yeah, actually,
Not all.
no.
Trinidad.
Trinidad is Judah, right?
we have.
Trinidad
Is
and
you
we
got
have
Jamaica,
Trinidad, we have Jamaica, we have
Barbados.
Bajan, British Guyana. I think. I don't
Jamaica's
know these flags.
Benjamin.
Maybe you can
Yes,
help me
ma'am.
out with these flags.
What's that? Okay, so
Because St. Lucia is mixed with
you got Jamaica, Trinidad. What's the?
I don't know the flags.
Let's see, Barbados, Guyana, Antigua. Okay. I believe this one. That's not Saint Martin, is it? The black triangle, the blue and white,
We
blue and
know
yellow.
that because Israelites are scattered, so the islands are not the land that the Mosai promised us, because we are scattered.
Yeah, but maybe born in Antigua,
When we go over Genesis 49 in the future, we'll explain how each tribe is, how we know who each tribe is.
Okay.
What flag is this? What
Lucia.
is that the one with the black triangle and the blue and yellow stripe? I think it's, hold on, let me see. This is why God gave us emojis.
Why are they teaching people this telling me that everyone is from Africa. The blacks is all black people.
Is the triangle outright triangle
Upside
Yeah.
down.
with what's that yellow
Blue.
black?
Yellow. It's the black triangle. It's a black triangle with a blue and yellow stripe.
Oh, that's it. One is different.
What's St. Lucia?
I thought one is St. Lucia.
That's St. Lucia. Oh, okay. Then what's this one right here? Do you know?
Which one?
The second one, right next to.
That one next to Barbados.
Yeah, the one to the left of Barbados.
I don't know. St. Vincent.
Uh,
Let's see if it's St. Vincent.
it might be St. Vincent. Hold on.
That's all.
That's St. Lucia.
St. Lucia. Okay.
And what's
So the Benjamin, we are from the well-beloved Rachel.
We're the last kid.
Yeah, because
No, that's St. Vincent. St.
Jacob
Vincent
loved that
is
book.
this one.
Jacob loved that book with all his
St.
heart,
Vincent
you
wants to
know.
talk.
And
oh, it kind of looks like the Barbados flag. Okay.
Let me see
So
the Barbados.
okay. So ask yourselves, do you know any Cuban people?
St. Vincent.
Yeah, y'all know any Cuban
That
people?
one's St. Vincent.
Caleb.
This is the Trident, broken Trident.
I know like maybe 2 or 3 Cubans.
So the Cubans are who?
Manasseh, which was one of the sons of Joseph.
Okay.
That's Barbados flag.
That's the one with the
Benjamites are the last set of because the last son.
yes.
The,
Y'all the youngest. Y'all are the babies. And I'm so Judah, Yahweh, we're surrounded by Benjamites.
I think they're very special because you see the last child for most people, they're always crazy about the last baby, the last.
And in the future, we're gonna read about how possessive Jacob was over Benjamin. We're gonna read.
Yeah, you remember
Yes.
when his sons
Take a
came
look
and
at
told him that
Madeline.
they find Joseph in Egypt.
Uh-huh.
He said, no, he's not sending down
Yeah,
Benjamin
don't send Benjamin.
He loved that boy so much. He said, no, I ain't sending no. I lost his brother, and I'm not gonna lose my other son like that. He loved that boy with passion. I want to thank God for that. Yeah, I wanna
That's
thank
Benji.
God for that.
So I want you. I hope y'all got something out of this. Like a lot of times, a lot of times you think your family is with you, or your family is trying to do right by you, and a lot of times they just don't.
Well, you know what I to be honest with you, I have learned, I'm learning some truth, and I'm hoping that the Most High will allow me to gain more. But I don't know because the family members, these people, they're so stuck in the churches. You can't tell them nothing.
Yeah, you can't.
Um,
A lot of them. Are there any questions in the chat, Yahweh?
Yes, years ago before I got the Israelite truth.
Or any comments, concerns?
Your family's there stuck
Nah,
in church.
just,
Yeah, you can't tell them
Okay.
nothing. Nothing you can tell them. They don't want.
Yeah, they,
wanna listen to
so you'll see how, Jacob was trying to do the right thing. He heard the prophecy. He communicated with the Most High, right? And he tried to go about.
Abraham, because Abraham was called out of his father's family, and he listened to the Most High. According to Scripture, he followed the voice of the Most High and he obeyed. But when you tell these family members, like you would say to them, you're going to a place, you have found some people who, they have the truth, they are teaching,
don't know
and
who
what
that's-
they're teaching, it gives you understanding
that's
from the
brother.
Scripture. The
Right
pastors,
there.
they only preach and that's it,
Yeah, but you saw how what I was trying to get to is that that you saw how Jacob was trying to do the right thing, but his family tried to screw him over. His uncle tried to take advantage of him, tried to extort him, deceived him twice, and then but the Most High turned that situation around and used it for His glory, because now this is how the nation of Israel was born. Okay, this is how the nation of Israel was created. We were created through, these 12 sons of this one man, right? And the 4 women that bore them. So, everything's all for the Most High's glory. The Most High gets the praise at the end of the day anyway.
That's
Right?
the point.
That's the point of it all.
That's the point.
That the Most High's will gets
Most High-
accomplished in the earth.
Most High, he does what he wants to do, what he think is right,
Mm-hmm.
or what he sees right, or what he thinks right.
And you see how he could manipulate the situation to benefit him and us. Okay, because what if Jacob's decided, you know what, just because I'm with Rachel now, you know what, I'm not gonna lay with her, I'm not gonna do anything, I'm just gonna whatever, she and I are stuck together. He could have been selfish, he could have been, he could have beat on her, he could have mistreated her way worse than what she was actually really getting at, but he said, you know what, no, I'm still gonna do the right thing. I'm gonna be a husband, and I'm gonna do what's right by this woman, by her father. I'm not gonna do him like he did me. Right? So with that, I say shalom, and hopefully y'all enjoyed the class.
Shalom.